What if I told you that firms like Apple, Tesla, and Amazon are all facing a huge $2 trillion issue that might hold the secret to opening the next trillion-dollar wave of adoption of digital assets? This is the reality. Global corporate treasuries are ineffective, antiquated, and essentially unprepared for the demands of the digital economy. These businesses own enormous sums of money and short-term bonds, but the funds are mired in antiquated systems that are costly, slow, and produce very little. The financial operating system used by the biggest companies in the world was created in the 1970s. However, that is about to change soon. XRP is at the forefront of a new treasury management standard that is driven by digital assets. To be honest, corporate treasuries are essential to international business. They oversee foreign currency risk, manage liquidity, and ensure that businesses can transfer funds effectively between countries. However, as you are aware, the current system is rife with inefficiencies. A US-based business frequently has to transfer funds through many correspondent banks in order to pay a supplier in Singapore or Germany, which can result in delays, additional costs, and losses from foreign exchange spreads. Around the world, idle cash just sits in accounts, collecting little interest and remaining unavailable for use in real-time operations. While maintaining compliance and reducing exposure, CFOs are constantly under pressure to maximize liquidity, hedge currency risk, and extract yield. It's a delicate balancing act that gets more difficult when international trade picks up speed and traditional financial infrastructure simply cannot keep up. Then comes Ripple and a slew of acquisitions that are discreet but effective, and, to be honest, completely changing the company's mission. These days, Ripple is developing more than simply a payments network. It is now developing what may turn out to be the first institutional-grade digital asset treasury management platform in the world. When Ripple purchased Standard Custody and Trust Corporation, a regulated trust corporation in the US, and Mataco, a Swiss digital asset custody company, everything truly came together. These bargains aren't arbitrary. These are calculated actions to create a legal link between blockchain technology and corporate money. By combining settlement, liquidity management, and secure custody under one roof, Ripple is establishing itself as the platform of choice for upcoming corporate treasurers. XRP serves as the ultimate liquidity and reserve asset in a Treasury 2.0 system. This is how it operates. Consider yourself the chief financial officer of a global company. Your money is now dispersed throughout numerous bank accounts in various currencies. Every year, you spend millions on settlement costs and foreign exchange conversions. Imagine now accessing Ripple's enterprise dashboard, a unified interface that allows you to easily manage all of your fiat and digital liquidity. While maintaining complete compliance with accounting and regulatory requirements, you can use XRP as a liquid reserve asset, use it to immediately settle a payment with a foreign supplier, or even invest your idle liquidity in a regulated DeFi protocol to generate yield. Do you require short-term liquidity then? You can, in fact, utilize your XRP holdings as loan collateral. Alternatively, you can use Ripple's integrated liquidity pools to convert across assets immediately if you need to protect yourself against currency fluctuation. To be honest, Treasury 2.0 looks like this. It is efficient, worldwide, instantaneous, and programmable. The design of XRP is actually what makes it particularly well suited for this function. XRP is a bridge asset designed specifically for quick and inexpensive cross-border settlement. It is not just another cryptocurrency. Because it may be traded and settled in a matter of seconds, it is perfect for managing business liquidity in many countries. It doesn't depend on sluggish mining or exorbitant fees as Bitcoin does. It is also not dependent on the solvency of a particular issuer, in contrast to stablecoins. It is liquid, impartial, and truthfully backed by an expanding network of institutional-grade infrastructure. XRP gives businesses with billions of dollars in global exposure the capacity to move value at the speed of information, something that traditional assets simply cannot. The ramifications of this are quite enormous. Over $10 trillion in cash and short-term securities, such as treasury bills, are held by corporate treasuries worldwide. That is a huge amount of idle capital that is merely awaiting a more effective distribution. Thus, if even 1% of that capital, roughly $100 billion, were to shift into XRP for cross-border settlements or operational liquidity, it would cause a demand shock that has never been witnessed by the cryptocurrency market. Keep in mind that there is a limited amount of XRP in circulation. The market availability would be drastically reduced if even a tiny percentage of that supply were locked up in corporate treasuries, perhaps causing a long-term price adjustment. And utility, not conjecture, would be the driving force behind this, and it will have a quick, cascading impact. The story will completely shift if the first big company declares that it has XRP or any other blockchain asset in its treasury for practical purposes rather than speculation. Is cryptocurrency too dangerous for businesses? Won't be the question. Is it a strategic disadvantage to hoard idle cash? Corporate CFOs will be compelled to reconsider their treasury strategy after that mental change takes place. Holding XRP as an operational asset will become a symbol of financial efficiency and forward thinking, much like holding Bitcoin became a competitive statement for innovators like MicroStrategy and Tesla. This also marks the introduction of liquid programmable reserves, a new asset type. Digital assets like XRP have the potential to completely change how businesses move, store, and use capital, much like bonds and short-term paper transformed treasury management in the 20th century. This change is made possible by Ripple's platform, which offers the technological and legal framework required for big businesses to function with assurance under this new paradigm. Ripple has successfully created the first end-to-end solution for blockchain-powered corporate liquidity in the world, with Medico delivering institutional custody and standard custody giving regulatory clarity. There is no better time than now. Inflation is reducing the value of cash, interest rates are, well, fluctuating, and international trade is increasingly becoming digital. Businesses are under pressure to extract as much value as possible from their financial sheets. At the same time, there are growing geopolitical dangers, sluggish settlements, weaknesses in the traditional banking system, and limited liquidity during crises. CFOs are searching for substitutes that provide speed and safety. That is precisely what Ripple's new structure, which is fueled by the XRP ledger, provides. It is programmable, auditable, quick, and made for the actual economy. Ripple transforms into more than just a payments company in this new environment. In fact, it turns into the company liquidity operating system. Additionally, XRP transforms from a speculative cryptocurrency asset to a useful institutional-grade reserve instrument. Consider it the contemporary counterpart of short-term treasuries. However, it's more affordable, quicker, and cross-border. The hurdles to entry for firms will genuinely vanish as regulatory certainty improves and more institutional infrastructure is constructed around XRP. The shift from traditional treasuries to digital liquidity solutions will then quicken, initially inconspicuously and then all at once. Thus, this is the main point. The corporate treasury shift worth $10 trillion has already started. Technology stack, collaborations, acquisitions, and ripples. Well, they all indicate the same objective: rethinking how businesses handle and transfer their funds around the world. What it means to be financially agile will be completely redefined by the pioneers, the Apples, Teslas, and Amazons of the world. And XRP will be at the heart of that change when they do. As the lifeblood of the new digital treasury period, not as a token for speculation. The writing is on the wall for those who are listening. Future businesses won't question if they should own digital assets. They will inquire as to what proportion of their liquidity ought to be digital. And when that time comes, the businesses that have already joined Ripple's ecosystem will have a significant edge. XRP will be more than just a cryptocurrency. It will be the driving force behind the modern